Hello, y'all. I've been recording for 8 minutes and didn't realize it. So today's topic, we are talking about when you have someone that is really, really close to you and they're envious and jealous and you need them to be on your side, right? And that's the hardest thing to do. And I wanted to talk about the topic. I had to start it all over again. How's everybody doing? I am Lee Hill, your hair coach. But I wanted to talk about this topic because being a cosmetologist, we run across all women from all different walks of life. And a lot of times, I can tell you about mine. We have successful women, entrepreneurs, heavy in their career, lawyers, doctors, different things like that. These are the experience I got to have and the blessings I got to have to do these beautiful women hair. And I heard so many stories. And recently I had this young girl who was starting her business, taking off. Her business is like going. And she does where she kind of like coaches, y'all know I'm at work. She coaches women, right? But it's an unusual way she's coaching them to teach them how to come into their own, start their business and different things like that. But it's just it's a niche. It's a small niche. And I was talking to her about it, and I said, well, what's the fuel behind that? Because she has so many great ideas. And I'm like, what is the fuel behind that? And she was like, Lee, when I was young, my mom, and she said, I don't even tell this story. I said, so how do you start a ministry? Because that's basically what she's doing. How do you start a ministry, or how do you become so successful without telling your story? They got to be able to know you and connect with you. And she looked at me and she was like, I said, you know how many more women you can be serving and helping if they understood your story. You got to tell your story, And so she basically, in a nutshell, it was about the fact that when she was young, she was 13. She was one of those girls that had the beautiful, gorgeous hair. She was dark skinned, but she was a beautiful baby doll girl. Long, gorgeous hair, body. She was one of those girls that was developed before their time, right? So she looked older in the body, but her face, she was still a baby. And her mom got a boyfriend. Y'all know how the story goes. The boyfriend was attracted to her instead of the mom. The daughter told the mom cussed her out. Eventually, the man wouldn't leave her alone, so she told another relative. The relative got the authorities involved. So the man left the mom alone. The mom blamed the daughter for walking around being sexy. I'm like, at 13, you buying her clothes. So these are the things we deal with. And then eventually, the mom put the daughter out a couple of months after the boyfriend left her alone. When the boyfriend wouldn't come back, the mom put her out. All right. And so that led to a long time of trauma and different situations. I was like, man, we as women be going through some things. And I'm looking at her, and she's very poised, very professional, very classy. If you look at her, A-type personality, everything put together. But that's something that was the core reason of her birthing all the things that she's birthing to help all these women. And I told her, I said, you got to tell that story. You can't just tell the story. You got to tell what you went through in the different stages, because there are so many women, whether you realize it or not, that deal with that. You know what I mean? And I said, you got to let them know they're not alone. And then you got to be the example and show them how to get it, how to do it like you're doing. But you got to tell them why, what's the push. And she was telling me how for years she was trying to win her mother's love, right? And this is a mother-daughter. And I have the same situation. And she was trying to win her mother's love. And she could never, the mom never would forgive her for the situation that happened, which was not her fault. The mom needed to forgive herself because she allowed things. But the point that I'm making is that how many of us do that, where the person we love the most, we're going throughout our lives, and maybe we're going through either trauma, or maybe we're going through not necessarily trauma, maybe we're going through just life, and we need that person. And that one person that we have in our life the person that is the jealous one, that is envious, and you're like, I don't need you in this arena. I need you to be for me because I got so much I'm trying to accomplish. I need you to be in my corner. I don't need you to be jealous and fighting against me and competing against me. And a lot of us, men and women, but I'm talking, y'all already know I'm talking to my sisters, we deal with that, right? Whether that could be a wife, whether that could be your best friend, it could be a parent, your mom, your grandma, whoever raised you. It could be your husband. It could be the people in the church. So we got different things we're going to talk about on this subject, because this subject is a core thing, is really a foundation, the foundation of a lot of our stories, of a lot of why we move the way we move in life. And I wanted to talk about that because that young lady, I was doing her hair, and I'm like, I'm not even a cosmetologist. I keep doing people's hair, y'all. I am a cosmetologist, right? But I'm saying, like, I don't do hair no more, right? And I'm like, oh gosh, I said, look at me. I guess this is for the video. But anyway, I could tell you my story. I went to school real quick. It's not long at all. I went to school, but one of the things I loved was I loved reading, and I loved reading, writing, and geography, and I liked history, but my main thing that I loved was law. I love the law, and then I got into the law program. I started, we started, doing live cases, and I loved it. By the time I got to my 12th grade year, my mom was like, Letha gonna be a lawyer. She's gonna be a lawyer. But when I was 5, I think I talked about this before, when I was very, very young, I had an uncle that was a fashion guy. Like, he was a fashion designer. He dressed a lot of celebs and stuff like that. And I used to sit with him and watch him put together these shows and create these shows, and it was a lot of glamour. And he would do the hair. He had the girl doing the hair, and then he put in the outfit with the hair and the theme, and I loved it. I'm talking about from a kid, right? And he said, darling, that is, it has to be, class. It has to be class, and I forgot the word, classic and classy, right? And so I love that. And so the seed was already planted. So by the time I got to the 12th grade and I started going to my community college, I told my mom, I said, I want to be a hairstylist. And that lady cussed me out. And that was the rift, because my mom had sacrificed a lot for me to go to where she wanted me to go to, as far as becoming an attorney. She was like, you can go here for 2 years, you get a scholarship. She had did a lot of things, right? And I understood. At that time, I didn't understand. And y'all, when you have children, we are selfish, especially when we get into high school. You are so lucky when you have a child that recognizes your sacrifices, that they do the things that they need to do for their parent. But a lot of times, our children are just be selfish, honey, especially when you always make sure that they have what they need to have. And I was just in that era. And my mom, it was a rift in our relationship, and it never, even to her death, it never got back to where it was when I was growing up and, and being raised. My mom and I was extremely close. And she was like, that's for dumb such and such, doing hair, like, what's wrong with you? And I went through a lot, but, I ended up started becoming successful because her decision to say the things she say to me, and to sever ties with me, as far as she would still deal with me, but we had no relationship. It was the push that I needed to be not just a successful Black hairstylist, but I needed to be that hairstylist, that I needed to be the hairstylist that did everybody hair. I didn't want to be the typical hairstylist in Miami. I'm driving a nice ride. I'm paying my bills. My hair done. I got clothes on, but I don't have no, what's the thing? I have no retirement. I'm not good with money. Like, I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to just do Black hair. So I did all hair. So I went to an all Hispanic school. I told you guys about that. And there I learned color, cut, all these different things. But long story short, in school, they tell you somebody walking by, at least wait 5 years before you open a salon. I opened up a salon in 2 years. That was a disaster. So I should have listened. But my mom started seeing the manifestation of those things. and it made her angry and jealous. And instead of her saying like, you doing it, like, you know, I was wrong, she did the opposite, right? And I needed her at that time because I was going through so much, y'all. And it's like, you need that person. And that's the most hurtful thing, is that the person that you love the most is the person that is giving you, you know what I'm saying, so much, you know, problems. And it's like, I need you. I don't need you to be jealous and envious. I got all these slew of people that I'm going up against. I need you to be my mom, you know what I mean? Or I need you to be my husband, or I need you to be my friend. Don't be jealous, because this success that I'm getting, you gonna come aboard. But a lot of us deal with that. And I just wanted to bring that out. In the next video, we're gonna talk about the different areas, the different people in our lives. This one, I'm talking about a parent. And so I'm just talking about so many of us that are successful in our careers. We have stories, and our parents make mistakes. So I'm not here to be bashing my mom or anybody else's mom, and for you to come on here when you write your comments. You don't need to bash your parents, because they make mistakes. And guess what? Your children, if you have children, they're going to talk about the mistakes you made. So we're not here for that. But what I am here for is to be able to talk about that. Remember, I told you this is the platform to talk about those things. Because why? Because this is the catalyst of like how we move. And sometimes when you address the things that you don't even realize, like, dang, I was moving like this because my mom or my brother or my whoever's close to you said I couldn't do it, or I was crazy to do it, right? And the sad part was, I went through it all by myself. There are things in my life that I went through all by myself. I had a whole bunch of people around, but you go through it alone. You know what I mean? And you don't want to be that for your child or for your friends or for your spouse. You want to be the best person that you can be for those people. You know what I mean? And so it was great. It's so great that we have these stories to tell about those things, but we still have wounds that need to heal. And I just wanted to talk about that. I was like, this is just, y'all already know, this is the platform. Tomorrow I'm gonna bring 2 products that I use for your hair. So we're still gonna talk about the topic, but I'm gonna do a little infomercial and talk about 2 products that you can use on your hair. Because I was like, I gotta still implement hair, because that's the whole purpose of it. But I just wanted to talk about that. How many of you have climbed the ladder? Or maybe you ain't climbing the ladder. Maybe you're just going through something. Maybe you're going through postpartum. Maybe you're going through a great time in your life, and that one person can't be there, not because they passed away, but because they're too jealous and too envious to push you on. They don't want to give you the support because they don't want you to do better. They don't want you to do better than them. How many of you are dealing with that? You know what I'm saying? That one friend that you want to share everything with, but you can't, because you know that they jealous inside, and they've shown it over and over again. And you know you should cut them off, but you won't cut them off because you just wish you can get that old thing back. But the old thing is gone. This is the channel for you. This is where we talk about those things, whatever it may be. And I just wanted to bring that out. So if you have that story, post that on here. Talk about that thing. Like, what was it that was trauma for you? Like, man, I needed her and she just was not there, or I needed him and he was not there. And I was going through so many successful things. And I think about that girl, what's her name? Mooney. I think her name Mooney. The Nobody Loves Me Like. I like that song. But she was talking about her husband. The higher, the better she got, he was struggling with it. It's so many of us that deal with that stuff. And let's talk about that thing. Talk about it, you know? So I am Lee Hill, your hair coach. I will see you guys next video, which will be tomorrow. I will be posting consistently Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, guys. Y'all forgive me for skipping up a little bit. It's just a lot been going on. But I'll see you next video.